Hey traders, TG Watkins here from simplertrading.com, and welcome to the StockCharts TV session for today. Now, I got a lot of stuff I want to be going through today, but I also have more that I want to show you on Monday. I'm going to be doing a free webinar over at simplertrading.com, so look in the comment section or the description here. We'll have more information for you of where to go. But what I want to talk about is what's going on with the market. Clearly, it has fallen out of bed. I think it has a lot more downside to go. We've been seeing just destruction across tickers and names out there. And I think there is much more to come. And I think if you guys like to trade to the short side, or if you trade options or puts, then I think there's a lot of fertile ground for us to be trading over the next few months while this happens. Now, they've got a lot of reasons why this is happening. Partly, it is midterm elections year. The market tends to go down during that time. And then also, basically, Jerome Powell came out and said, yeah, we're going to be taking the punch bowl away from the party, and we're going to start tightening things up a bit. So what that means is the easy money is gone, and all the stuff that was going crazy during 2020 and even into 2021, all that stuff is just getting, all the good stuff's getting sucked out of it, and they're all coming back to where they began because there was just an influx of money into this stuff to keep it propped up, and now they're just basically turning it around. So we've got a lot to show you there, what's going on in the market, how we can take advantage of it. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too beat up during this market, because we're actually making some pretty good money over here in the Moxie channel. So one thing I wanted to talk about with the teaser yesterday is the UVXY and the trades that I've been making with it. So you can come over here to profitpilot.com, and that is where you can see my write-ups, my newsletters, and I've been writing about this. Even before the weekend, I said, hey, this is what I'm in, and this is what I'm expecting. So you can come here, you can check it out. We've made a couple good trades on this. We traded it up and down, made about 53 and 45% on the way up and almost 14% on the way down. And I think it's setting up to go long again, and probably another 50% trade, something like that. So it's going to be a fun time trading this and seeing what the market does. Now, if we kind of get into this and we're looking around, just remember that human psychology is we have fear and we have greed, right? And of course, greed can be a very strong emotion, but I think fear is even stronger because, well, that is our biological safety net, making sure that our desire to stay alive and make sure that we can hear that lion that's about to jump out of the bush and eat us, we can actually pay attention to, as opposed to us wanting to eat the berries on some fruit, some bush or something like that. So when it comes to the market and we're looking at this and things are not working out and people are losing money, they just get out. Their stops get hit, which is a cascading effect in itself, and then people just get out. They just hit the eject button, and this is why you see the downside much faster. You take the escalator up and you take the elevator down, and that is basically what we're seeing. Now, I also think a lot of people are looking for a bounce in through here. I'm not so sure we're going to get a bounce. This market feels really, really heavy, and any kind of bounce we do get is going to get shorted into. So the question is, for how long and how big might the bounce be? Or is this just going to be a flag sideways, a bear flag? Either case, we need to be careful. We've been having a good time trading some of this back and forth, and it's been pretty good. The only thing I missed was gold, and gold fell apart today. We saw that yesterday when the Fed came out and talked, and so we just got out of that, and we're back on the short side on almost everything else. So having a good time with that. I do think, I don't know, I mean, we could be in for a 20% correction of the market over the next few months. It's just a guess, but I do think that this is going to be pretty major, and I think it's going to be something serious as the market basically recalibrates itself. Now, as I said, if we look at the UVXY, it does look like this thing's raring to go. I mean, this thing is looking pretty excited. It's got big volume coming in, and it's holding. It's just holding. It looks primed to go. And this is a big mover when it goes, and I think it is indicating that the market is likely to see more weakness in a relatively short order. And if we look at the NASDAQ, trust me, I do. Let's see, go over here. I do look at this, I'm like, wow, this is super oversold. It's so oversold. Usually we get a big bounce, right? Yeah, I know. I'm thinking the same thing too, and I'm prepared for it. But I'm also thinking it may not happen, because the move I was looking for was price moving right up into the underside of the hourly 50. We traded it from the low to the high right there. And then we got out as we could tell that price was not going to hold up due to the FOMC and the Fed and Jerome Powell. And today, I mean, this is super weak. We're just closing on the lows. Maybe I really not even sure that we're going to be able to get over the hourly 50. That's kind of my thought. And so maybe we kind of get something like this and then we roll over. So just make sure that you are protected and prepared and you're doing what you need to do in order to survive the market like this, because I do think that there's much more downside coming. Now, and if we look at the IWM, I mean, this has been the leader to the downside and therefore the weakest one. And what we can see is it did all start with price running right smack into the underside of the daily 50 and the Moxie indicator below zero. So I got to tell you guys, the Moxie indicator has been crucial for trading this kind of environment. Now that we've actually got some good moves, now that something like the IWM is moving and not just doing these things back and forth, like my system is doing very, very well and we're having a great time with it. And you can see just how down the Moxie indicator is. And then, I read the stuff here on the 15 and say, yeah, it's probably going to go up, but only so far. And that's exactly what it did. Ran right into the 15-minute 200 and the hourly 50. I mean, those were the things that I was looking for as resistance, and it hit it perfectly. And then it just got hammered again today. So a lot of weakness out there going on. And then, so if we look at some of the names, we kind of talk about, say, Carvana and what's going on. Let me go over here, because this is a lot of what I would like to talk about coming up on the webinar on Monday. Again, it's free, so just kind of tune in, see what's up. And if we look at this, it's just falling off a cliff, isn't it? Now, does that mean Carvana is a bad company? Does it mean they're going to go out of business? Like, what does this mean? Well, it might not be any of that. I don't know anything about what their earnings are or what they've been doing as far as, are they growing or anything. And really, the stock market is forward thinking. So they could just be reevaluating, how much is the thing actually worth? Or they're just saying, okay, we've got less money in the system, something's got to go. And when we had something like this that had just a very, very dramatic rise, and honestly, it was probably because of the Fed stimulus and them buying bonds and everything, and all that stuff has to make its way somewhere, and it tends to make its way into the market. It's just over, the party's over. So what I've been seeing a lot of is price coming all the way back down to some major moving average. Now, it could go lower, it could kind of bounce here, hold for a little bit, and then go lower. We don't know. But for right now, that does tend to be a typical target, which, if you look, is almost back to where these things began. So, for us, we just don't need to be in these names. We can step aside. We can get out of these things. We can go short. But I do think that we are not going to be seeing any bounces anytime soon. I've been even hearing, I don't know, financial talk out there that the market right now is trying to hammer out a bottom to move up. I don't think so. And even if it does move up a little bit, I think it's a shortable opportunity. So don't get suckered in. This is not a buy the dip opportunity. This really is not. We are seeing massive destruction across the board in a lot of names, including big names. A lot of things are coming off. Netflix went down. Tesla is coming down. Apple, we'll see where that is when it has earnings today. But a lot of these things are just getting unwound a little bit, or a lot of it. And so what we're seeing here are there are very, very clean setups on this. I mean, look at this. Price running right smack into the underside of a downtrending daily 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero. It doesn't get any cleaner than something like this. They're really, really good names. And you know what? For as strong as the market was in 2020 when it was going up to the upside, if you can trade these things short, there is a lot of money in a very short order of time to be made and to be had on the short side, because they just happen so quickly. So as long as you can step aside and protect yourself or take advantage of this, this is really great, because we need a kind of a correction like this. When this is all said and done, it's going to clean the slate. It's going to provide fertile ground, and there's going to be a whole new or different crop of stocks that pop up and will give us really good bull runs to work with. And then, another name, if we look at Shopify, look at these things. They've totally changed. And if we look here on the hourly and the daily, the Moxie indicator was telling us way ahead of time. I mean, actually, let me zoom in here so we can see it a little bit better. But look right in through here. And these are some of the bearish patterns. I mean, look, the 8 is below the 21 the entire time. And just look at the Moxie indicator. It's so far below zero. And then, you know what? This is the kind of stuff, if you're in a trade, if you're long in a trade and you're like waiting for a bounce, you may not get it because look at this. When they start going down, they just keep going down. That is something that you really, really need to keep in mind, especially if you're newer to trading, that they don't stop sometimes because everybody's looking at this and they're like, it's toxic. Nobody is coming in, nobody's stepping in to buy something like this. Nobody in their right minds can be like, yeah, let's go buy that. They're just not going to do it. So if you are in a position like that, and if you're stuck, you just get out because you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know how long it's going to take, and you don't know what that ride is going to be like. And it could be, I mean, it could just be forever until something turns around, or it could just keep going down. And by the time you do finally throw in the towel and get out, it's going to be worse. So when you see stuff like this, just get out. I'll show you my gold trade, and I just got out. But as far as these trades like Shopify, look at the hourly 200. The trend has changed. This has really, really changed. So really, you need to pay attention to what the moving averages and your indicators are saying. Now, so GFI was one of the gold stocks that I was trading. And really, this thing looked amazing. Everything was looking pretty good. It looked like it was holding the weekly 21, the weekly 50. It had just done a trampoline move there on the daily chart. Gold looked like it was starting to go. There was a price down, Moxie indicator up. Everything was looking good. But then Jerome Powell came out and said, yep, we're definitely going to be raising interest rates. And I think it's a combination of things. One, the dollar shot up. And with the huge up dollar, that puts a lot of downward pressure on precious metals. And so that's part of why gold went down. The other thing to be looking at and considering is, well, if interest rates are going up and investors can find other, say, more guaranteed places to make interest, to make gains, like fixed what am I trying to say? Fixed products that have a higher interest rate that they can put their money in, just park it and have it appreciate a little bit. They're going to do that rather than in gold. So gold might be getting hit from two sides in that case. And with a big move down like this, when it broke the key levels of support that I needed in order for this thing to work, I just get out. You take the hit, just move on. You got so many other trades. You got enough capital. You can go play elsewhere and make that money back in no time. All right. So then just to show you, IIPR, this was loosely related to cannabis because it was kind of like cannabis real estate. Well, we've been seeing that even real estate type stocks have been getting hit. And look at this. Here is higher high with price, and here is a lower high with the Moxie indicator. There is your negative divergence telling you that something's going on with this and it's not happy. And then you can see here price getting rejected by the underside of the daily 50 with the Moxie indicator very much below zero. And then over here, you can see again, look at the trend, look at the hourly 200. It's very, very much in a downtrend. And then how about an inverse trampoline move? You guys remember what that is? When price is over the 50, but the Moxie indicator is below zero, right there. That is an inverse trampoline move. So if you guys don't have the Moxie indicator, you might be looking at something like this and see a huge bounce and think, oh, that's amazing. It's a huge bounce. It's strong. We're over the 50, all this kind of stuff. And then it just rolls over and dies on you. But if you had the Moxie indicator, you could look at this and say, that's an inverse trampoline move. I got to at least wait for confirmation if I want to see this thing go up. And it never confirmed. It just kept melting down. And these things, look at this. I mean, they're going down in a hurry. So do be careful about what you're doing out there. And if you can trade on the short side, then great. Boot, this one I was on, not the 5 or something, but I was on another StockCharts TV episode probably 6 weeks ago at this point. It was basically right in through here. I think that's when whatever date that was. So, and I was the only one who was kind of bearish in this market. And I said, you know what? Boot looks like a blow off top. That's exactly what that looks like. So you can see with Boot, just moving nice, moving up. That's okay, doing all right. And then suddenly you go vertical. Like, what's up with that? That is a late stage run. That is a blow off top. That's an exuberance pop off. I mean, that's crazy, and especially Boot Barn. I mean, I'm glad to see Boot Barn's doing well, but really, does that really make sense? And I know you don't want to, sure, you're talking about shorting. You're like, yeah, of course we should be shorting Boot Barn because why? Well, you don't short it until you get the signals. You don't short it until it says it's ready to go down. And that's what this blow off top is. That's what that exuberant run is. And then you can see, look at this. There's the Moxie price trigger on the way down. There's another Moxie price trigger on the way down. And then you can see price just poof, right down there. And so I was talking about this one on StockCharts TV 6 weeks ago saying, Hello. I think that's a shortable opportunity, and indeed it was. So, yeah, we've been seeing this stuff happen and develop for the last few weeks. So it's been fun to be watching. SLI, if we want to be talking about lithium, and we come over here, and again, a couple things to be noting. Inverse elf shoes all over the place. But then look at this. Price ran right smack into the underside of a downtrending daily 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero. That's a short. Do not go in. That's the kind of stuff that you need to be able to see and recognize, and then you can actually take advantage of this market. And then like right there, there's the Moxie price trigger. It's looking super red. And then what does it do? It follows the hourly 50 straight down. There's some good percentage in here. There's some really good moves in here, and they take a few days, and you've made some good profits right there. And then another one, if we kind of look at plug, if we want to say, okay, what about these old leaders? Yeah, look at them. They are going back to where they came from. This is some brutal stuff. We kind of move this around. We can see this and through here. First off, look at the hourly chart. Look at this hourly 50 and this hourly 200. Both of them in serious downtrends. There's nothing that's going to help get this thing turned around. Money is coming out of this so fast, it's making your head spin, all right? And then, just be careful. Any little bounce, they're going to get sold into. It's just that it hits some support, it's going sideways, and all it's trying to do is, bide its time until it wants to go down a little bit further. These kind of names, they're just probably going to be going straight down there. They're going to be, I don't know, maybe even go all the way back to where they came. This was pretty crazy stuff, and it was built off zero revenue, and these are all story stocks. And right now, when interest rates are going up and money is coming out of the market, the flight is into value. Money is going into companies and stocks that have been here for 100 years, that have seen busts and booms and ups and downs and high inflation, low inflation. Like, they've seen it all, and they're still around here. Okay, so that's where money is flowing. If you care to keep your money invested and you can't trade the short side, you got to look for companies that have been around and aren't going to go defunct in the next few months. Just because the Fed starts turning up interest rates and taking money out of the economy. So keep that in mind. You need to go into some safety if that's the area you need to go. Even look at solar, TAN. I mean, it looks just like Plug Power. Looks just like Plug Power. And this is the ETF. So if this is the ETF of solars, go think what each solar name is going to be looking like. These things are super rough, and I think they have plenty more to go. I mean, look at this. I think that this is basically halfway to wherever it's going. I think that there's still more downside. Now, if you're interested in this stuff, does that mean you just go short here? No, you're trying to look for a bounce. Maybe you kind of find a bounce here or a bounce here, and you can go short that. But, just look for an opportunity. But yeah, these things, man, it's going to be a fun few months on the short side. So be sure to tune in on Monday so you guys can see everything that I'm going to be talking about. And then DKNG. This was another one of those crazy stocks that was driven up, and just to show you what is going on with these things. Like, where are they going? What's happening? Well, they're going back to where they came from. I mean, look at DKNG. This is where it began, and it's not too far away from there. So a stock can always go lower. That's the first thing you really need to keep in mind. And so if you're trying to play these long or think they're going to turn around, they're not. They're just not going to. This is brutal. This is absolutely brutal. And you just got to get out. Nobody wants to buy this. So it just keeps getting sold and sold and sold. And there's a start right here. So this is the kind of stuff that I'll be talking about on Monday right there, so that you can actually see that. You can jump in and you can profit from that. So there are still a lot of setups like that we are, the Moxie indicator traders and I are tackling. We're having a great day. We're having a field day over here. And I think that the next few months are going to be like this. So come join me Monday. Come check me out at profitpilot.com, simplertrading.com, and StockCharts TV. Thanks for having me on again. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.